Hey, 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 and I'm coming on smiling with less than 2 minutes to go for today's message. Y'all know what's got me smiling, right? Technology. But phew, I think it made it in the, and what's it called? The neck of time. All right, neck or nick. But welcome, welcome. Look, come on, let me know where you're viewing in from, even if you're watching the video. And we're going to get today's message started in less than 2 minutes. Yeah. Oh my goodness, less than a minute and a half. In fact, now. Yeah, I had to change the time because and by the way, that's part of what this broadcast is about. Is I kind of like to let you in on my creative process. And so what happens is, the thing to learn, sometimes we take our creative process for granted. And I just, I'll be able to get this one up and done because I'm continuing it from next week. But then, of course, once I start doing it, I say, oh, wait a minute, I want to add this. Oh, I want to change that. That's the beauty of the creative process. And guess what? I'm going to mention that because see, just again, now another idea just came to me based on that. So we've got less than a minute to go for today's message. Oh my God. But I'm doing that. By the way, the reason I'm doing this, letting you in on the creative process, is because that way, maybe when you're putting together a presentation, you'll see some of the things that you may think of that you may think, oh man, I should have done that, or I shouldn't have done that. When in fact, you might find out that, hey, that was a great way to go. So just, that's what I want to do, give you some tips. So, hey, what's going on, Vic, man? Thanks for coming back. Yeah, good to be here from New York, Facebook. You got it. Yeah, I just finished explaining what took me so long, but here I go. It's 1:15. Let's get on the roll. Let's make it happen. All right. Oops, let's push this button instead. Okay. So I say goodness to you. And I say goodness. Why? Because I don't know whether you're watching morning, afternoon, or evening. But isn't it great to have good in front of your salutation? And see, so again, my boy Vic Marr is coming in from New York, my homie growing up. He's got that good in his comments there. Good. So whether it's good morning, good evening, good afternoon, it's good to have that in front of your salutation. Remember how good God is. So welcome to Truth Thursday, where we realize that TRUTH, tests are rarely understood until the testimonies actually heal. In creating this broadcast title, first I decided to go with the fact that one, truth, TRUTH, needs only half the letters from Thursday, since I'm broadcasting on Thursday. See, again, the creative process. Second, we've all heard the term that the truth shall set you free. Well, guess what? Freedom can be a tough choice because freedom is actually a result. And you'll find that you'll see my affirmation free, FREE, is facts, risks, empathy, and excellence. And like truth, you'll find it in my book, Affirmations. Now, an affirmation is an acronym that goes beyond adding a word to each letter. It actually defines and brings the word to life as an affirmation. So that's why I created that. So bringing free to life, we see that true freedom is based on what? Facts, not luck, not guesses. And just using that and then risk, RISK, as an affirmation within itself, we see RISK. Recognition is success's key. And we're reminded that once you know who you are, you have to also be ready to take a chance on being who you are. And that's a fact. So we may not know how important it is to take that chance until we do. But one thing I always say, and that is recognize that freedom is always worth the risk. So getting into what truth stands for, we'll continue to start by embracing that first word, and that is test, because test, is the root of testimony. You can't have the freedom, the forecast, or the fullness of a testimony without the test. Thus, my guiding scripture today will be from John 14:27, and that is, my peace I give unto you, where Jesus assures his disciples that his peace is different, from the world's peace, and will bring them comfort and courage even in difficult times, which we're experiencing right now in this world, right? He wrote that many years ago, I would say, in the Bible. And I'll use it to build upon last week's message and remind you that getting it together and keeping it together are possible when you accept them both as a process. Getting it together as a process, keeping it together as a process. So I've chosen to have some fun showing you how I created the finishing touch to last week's test by calling this one Piece in the Puzzle Part 2. So let's go to the puzzle and do a little bit of a recap. Okay. A few months ago, I mentioned the calm feeling that came over me as I sat and put a puzzle together. So if you didn't see last week's broadcast, go look at that first and then come back, or just look at this and then you can look at that. It doesn't matter. I'm putting a little piece in there. What's going on, Lorenzo? Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Okay. But I talked about that the calm feeling that came over me as I sat and put a puzzle together, not remembering the last time that I had ever done one. So while sending out an inspirational email, I happened to tell a story of how one of my good friends, Katrina Talbert here in Charlotte, walked into the lobby of the recreation center where I was doing the puzzle. And we hadn't seen one another in over a year. So we hugged and we celebrated. And in our process of catching up, she mentioned a couple of puzzles that she had and offered to gift me one with that had 1,000 pieces. So thank you, Katrina. Well, one of my little brothers, Paul Yohei, decided to gift me with a customized 500-piece puzzle of my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. And here the puzzle shows my name on my back, and it has my favorite number, which is actually 27, which is the day I was born in August. Let me take a breath there and see what Lorenzo says. Blessing to you, brother, and all my fellow listeners. Amen. God bless. This is what we do. All right. So I'm going quick on that recap to put this puzzle together. So meanwhile, in last week's broadcast, here I mentioned that you start off with a puzzle by creating the boundaries. So we're looking at life as well, right? Because we're looking at life as a puzzle where you're either a small, medium, or large piece of every puzzle in your family, business, or social interactions. Yet no matter what puzzle piece size you see yourself as, small, medium, or large, without you, the puzzle is incomplete. So how do we start out a puzzle? I mentioned we start out by creating the boundaries. And the challenge with boundaries is that sometimes they can be too rigid and sometimes they can be too soft. But most often they are, according to our estimation, whether they're too rigid or they're too soft. Thus, I prefer, instead of calling them boundaries, I like to call them guidelines. And with guidelines, we go in accepting the fact that there's no etched in stone way that there needs to be. And therefore, we instantly afford ourselves the grace of having a way out to make adjustments without blame. So I jokingly pointed out to a way out based on a missing piece of the puzzle. Because I looked, and I'm doing the boundary. I can't find it. I said, oh my God, Paul, there's a missing piece. Now, I jokingly pointed to a way out on the missing piece, but now with wisdom being in retrospect, I thank myself. And you got to do that. You got to thank yourself sometimes. I thank myself for mentioning that wisdom is in retrospect and that this way out in the puzzle could also be seen as being judgmental. And perhaps too quickly, I decided that this puzzle was delivered to me with a missing piece. You ever think that somebody has brought you something that's a missing piece, or you ever think that there's a missing piece in what's going on in your mind? We're talking about getting and keeping it together, right? So enter the P in peace as patience. You have to be patient when putting a puzzle together. You have to be patient when getting yourself together. Remember, we talked about the process, and we cannot know if we'll make it to the C for completion until we're all out of pieces to do what? To see, to connect. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. Patience over judgment. Okay. As your vision of yourself becomes more clear, you learn. See, I actually had, this is once I got close to the end, I found that piece that I was missing. See, I was judgmental in saying that my boundaries, my guidelines, my borders were incomplete. Too quickly, sometimes we judge our own moves. Have patience with yourself. You don't have to have it all together based on the fact that you said you were going to have it together or reach your goal in 1 week, in 60 days, whatever it is. You have to make it happen. When you get to that short-term goal, that 1 week, if you're not where you plan to be, extend the goal. Have that patience with yourself, okay? And that's what I say, what you have to learn is similar, as your vision of yourself becomes more clear, you learn, similar to prayer, to take it easy. To take it easy. You have to expect angels to save you. Take it easy on yourself. See, I'm outside my goals, but I'm patient and I'm taking it easy on myself. And as Lorenzo says, retrospective and introspective helps to seek direction to completions. Patience over judgment. Retrospective. Yeah, think about what you went through. Introspective. Think about how you felt as you were going through and as you are going through, so that you can seek the direction to what is going to be complete. Maybe you thought you should have done it in a week or in 60 days, but maybe that was not God's plan. And you prayed for God's guidance. Well, once you pray, that's why I say it should be easy. Pray and get out of the way. Expect angels to save you. Expect God to answer your prayer. So let's move on. Thank you, Lorenzo. Continuing with the puzzle. As we continue with the puzzle, okay, you pray, you get out of the way, and then you hear yourself reciting that God would not bring you this far just to leave you, and that he'll make a way out of no way. And every single religious, inspirational, or cliche that you've ever used to keep yourself going. So you get to celebrate as you see them manifest and start to materialize. Okay. And so let me see what Lorenzo said before I go on. Happy blessed day. Many blessings and many successful journeys with grace and God's guidance. Always good to have a mouthful of alliteration to move yourself on, and respect. All right. So that's what praying for angels to save you and getting out of the way is all about. So you get to celebrate as you see these blessings manifest and materialize. Because see, right now I'm outside my borders. So let's fast forward to the fact that we have to do what? You got to get in. You can't play the game from the stands. You got to get on the court. You got to get on the field. You got to get in the ring. You have to get inside the puzzle. Retrospective, introspective. You got to get inside the puzzle. And once you get in, you start to feel your way around, right? And you start to see what pieces you have and where you can go. See how I got a little bit of my arm, I got a little bit of my waist, okay? And then the lower right corner of your ear, you hear your parents, you hear your friends, you hear your mentors encouraging you. See how in that lower part of the puzzle, you don't know who that is, but you hear somebody encouraging you to get it together and to find a way to stay stronger. And then because of that encouragement, you learn that 2 heads are better than 1, as are 2 arms or 2 legs. And ultimately, you learn the lessons. 2 lessons can come together and help you start to get it together. And this is where we signed off last week, with the realization that in the game, someone new hands you a towel and starts to encourage you. Okay, you start to feel yourself getting stronger. And in fact, during this segment of my puzzle, an old friend, Rashad Wills, whose nickname is Pluck, came through Charlotte for a visit. And he loved the puzzle idea as well. And like a little excited boy, he sat at the table and he lended a hand putting it together. And in doing so, I actually watched his approach and learned another process toward my completion. Have you ever had to watch what somebody else did so that you can see what you can do to complete something? He started putting the pieces together outside of the puzzle rather than focusing on putting the puzzle together. See, sometimes you have to work on what's going on and around you before you can work on what's going on inside of you. And so I wrote to him in a text. I wrote, here's how I progressed after you reminded me to put the pieces together and the puzzle would prosper. Thank the people who help you put the puzzle together. Let them know that they've had a part. That's why I click on the comments. And I'm going to click on one of Lorenzo's. Puzzles can allow us to walk away and come back refreshed to put the pieces back together toward completion. Exactly. And see, that's what you do. And that's why I click on the comments. And sometimes my post can seem a little disjointed because I'm clicking on the comments and inserting them into what I have prepared. And in the process, that knocks me off of the flow I had and what I compared. But because it's important to show that that's what happens. Sometimes if you get so focused on this is the way I'm going to get it done, you stop listening to, you got some outside influence and say, yeah, you're doing it. That's a good way to go, Sporty. But before you get there, why don't you try this? Sometimes you might want to do that. So thank the people who help you with the process. Sometimes just step back, take a look at your work, and then come back refreshed to put it back together. And thank the people who help you on your journey. So important to do that. So as we go to talk about after I thanked Pluck, then what I said you do, you first start to work on your core. See how the core is missing? Okay, but my legs and my balance, I'm getting my legs and my balance. And then the people who have your back start to materialize and become stronger in their support. I hope you see in this that I'm picturing this, that the words I'm getting are from what's happening with the puzzle. See, I'm getting my core together. So I'm starting to get my legs and my balance together. And now I'm starting to see the people who have my back are starting to become, remember we just had that one person in the right-hand side. We had no idea who they were, but now we're starting to see a couple of people in the middle and one a little there on the far left. People start to come together as you start together. And so as they do, then you build yourself up. You build yourself up to where the only thing that's holding you back is the music in your ears and the images in your peripheral vision. See, now I'm up top. I've got all of that bottom built, my core and everything, but I've still got some way to go. So what am I looking at as I'm looking straight ahead? And then as I'm seeing to the left and to the right, because you still got peripheral vision, even when you're looking straight ahead. And what's the music in my ears? Or I might see on the left and right, who am I listening to? Who am I listening to? Okay. You see, you build yourself up to where the only thing that's holding you back or pulling you forward is the music in your ear and the image in your peripheral vision. In other words, who's your messenger and which way is he or she telling you to go? And at this point, I wanted to stop and read to you a poem of mine called Controlling Angels. Because see, you've got somebody saying, hey, go this way, go that way. And you ever have somebody say, well, you know what? I had an angel on my right shoulder and a devil on my left shoulder. Well, I say, nope, I don't have an angel and a devil on my right and left shoulders. I have an angel on each shoulder. So here's how I introduce the poem Controlling Angels in my book. Okay. You've heard the saying, an angel on one shoulder, a devil on the other. My belief is that I have an angel on each shoulder. I just don't always know which one to follow. Because our hard choices, ladies and gentlemen, in life are not between good and evil, but between good and good. So here's Controlling Angels. As one angel begged me to follow the right path, the other urged me down the left. Not the wrong. The opposite of right is left. So as one angel begged me to follow the right path, the other urged me down the left. Each presented me with a lining of gold. Each had a method to its blessing. Each knew when they had my attention. As important as it is to control your angels, it's equally crucial that you walk the path on the correct side, no matter what side that be. So who are your messengers? Who are your angels? Your angels are saying, you got to, God is the voice in my head. I got God saying, boy, I want you to do this or that. Either one is going to work out for you, because go back to what we said with Lorenzo, retrospection and introspection. You can't, whichever path you choose to take, however far it gets, once you get to the end of that, you can, oh man, I blew it. I should have taken the other path. You don't know if that path was even shorter or if that path would not have worked out at all. So let your controlling angels show you, hey, you've got two good choices. It's going to be a tough choice. Let's take one and let's move it forward. Let's see what you say here, Lorenzo. I like the acknowledgement of the influences of your angel. Yeah. You've got angels in your life, and you're so often sitting next to one. You've heard that saying, you never know when you're seated among angels. And you have to be between good, good and gooder. In Chicago, I don't know, Lorenzo, what church you go to, but I attended Trinity United Church of Christ, and always on our revivals, we have Pastor Freddie Haynes from Dallas, who he always say, I'm good and getting gooder. And so, yeah, that's the tough choice, good and gooder. And now you hear in basketball, you hear them saying, good shot, better shot. See, those are the tough choices. Do I take the shot now, or do I pass it to my teammate who's in a better position, but he or she may miss the shot? Well, guess what? You have the option of missing the shot also. Are you in tune with your other angels? Do you trust your other angels? I trust my partners to take that shot. That's what it's all about. That's what putting the puzzle is all about, putting puzzle together. So let's continue. Okay, so controlling your angel. So now what you do is you take larger steps toward the left. I've decided my angel, I'm not going to go to the right. I'm going to go down the left, not the wrong way, but the left, L-E-F-T. Let's encourage free thinking. See how I fill that puzzle in on the right path, and what I've got left is what I'm going to do on the left side. Let's encourage free thinking. There's another way to go. I could have chosen to fill out this puzzle by filling in the left side first and ending with the right. You got options. Remember, now let's go back to boundaries versus guidelines. You got options. You start out saying this is the way to do it, and along the way you say, you know what? I think this is a better way. It's not that I made the wrong choice. I had an option. I had a plan. I had a vision. I had a dream. And in the process, what Lorenzo said earlier, I was able, let me go back to see. He said, I like this one. Let me walk away and come back refreshed. I was going down the path that I originally chose. And in the process, I took a rest and I got refreshed to help me go that same path a little harder. Okay, whichever. So that's what happened here. I went the left. I encourage free thinking. You got to get other people's opinions as you move forward. Okay, and so that was a controlling angel. So you take larger steps toward the left until you have one piece left to go. So I wanted to take a picture of my last piece to go before my next celebration, because my next celebration is wholeness. Man, are you celebrating yourself every day? I am. I'm always missing a little piece, but I'm always pulling that piece back together and celebrating the wholeness of it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. That's what that means. You're going to lose a little piece of yourself every day. But that doesn't mean that you lose it in a bad way. That means sometimes you lose it by giving it up. Jesus said to the disciples, he said, follow me, lose some of your stuff, give it up so that you can follow me. There's less weight to carry. So you have to lose a piece of yourself to gain the fullness of the blessing. Lose that piece, find your new wholeness. Because every day we wake up, we're a new person, because there's something that we decided to let go of. And so there's something you decided to lose to get your wholeness, because that is the key. Meanwhile, the truth is, sometimes you've got it all together, even when you feel like you're a little crooked. See, so that's the key. Sometimes because you're still beating yourself up. You still, I don't have it, but I'm feeling crooked, so I'm not going in the right direction. No, sometimes you need to, what's that? You have to bob and weave. What's snake? You have to, it's not always such a straight and narrow path. There's bumps along the way. There's ducks and dodges. And what Lorenzo said, make life a heart-thumping note. We oftentimes ignore influence that shape us. Put our heart in motion to lift each other is life. Putting our heart in motion to lift each other is life sustaining. Sometimes we think our successes are self-made. They're not. No one can do it alone. However, seen and unseen angels lift us. And sometimes they lift us above the nonsense. And sometimes they push us and knock us down. And we think, oh, who was that bad person that knocked me down? That was a good angel knocking you down to save you from what was coming, because maybe you weren't going to duck soon enough. See, it's mindset. It's mindset. The angels are always at work. And I hope you can go back and look at the different pieces of this puzzle in this presentation and see what that puzzle piece said to you, because I'm telling you what the puzzle pieces are saying to me. Sometimes you've got it actually all together, but you feel like you're a little crooked. Well, that's not a bad sign. That means that you did a good job dodging something. You did a good job maybe leaning on something to take a rest. Find ways to continue to encourage yourself, because the other part of the truth is the same truth that I used last week, and that is that peace requires and emphasizes patience and acceptance of what so many of us pray or hear prayed around us. And that is that God would never bring us this far to leave us uncovered. He's not finished with you yet. The game is not over until the fat lady sings. And on the seventh day, he rested after completion of his creation. That's you. That's us. On the seventh day, God he said, it is done, and it is good and getting gooder. We are good. Goodness, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. We are good and getting gooder. Everybody and everything was included or evolved from his empathetic process. When God said it is good, he meant everything and everybody. That's you. That's us. We're all good. So let's keep getting gooder. And again, here are the words used that I've used, the PEACE words. And you can just read them for yourself. To having that patience. Remember, be careful that you make sure that the patience is over judgment. Remember, I said there was a missing piece. What's the matter with this? No, I just need to be patient. I judge too quickly. Later on down the road, I found that missing piece. See, sometimes you can look so hard for a piece that you can't see it. We have the term in our vocabulary, overlook. We overlook something. We skip the step. That's what that's all about. That's the patience. The people in our lives make the difference. The angels, when we pray, we have to know that there's a progress in the process, and a process in the progress. So we prosper. We keep pulling ourselves together. And sometimes people pull us along. Who are you pulling along? Who are you reaching back for and pulling? And then you got your peripheral vision. It's not always about straight ahead. Going straight ahead requires looking left and right and ducking and dodges. So you have to emphasize your joy and keep celebrating yourself. Everyone has not been in one another's shoes, but we sit in the same row. That's what the empathy is all about. Everything is, we just said that God has made everything in an evolutionary process. He's excited about his creation. That's why he sat back and rested. Are you? Sit back every now and then and just rest and celebrate yourself. And then exactly, you don't have to be perfect, but you can be exactly where you need to be. Maybe not always where you want to be, but where you need to be. And sometimes you can be exactly where you want to be. You got options. So accept that you got to get in the game. You can't play the game from the sidelines. You got to get on the field. Allow yourself to get in. Allow yourself to make mistakes, miss shots, strike out, and then get back up, because you're not in it alone. You've got teammates. You got somebody else to pick you up. And when you can't be the hero, maybe somebody else can be the hero. So how you approach life makes a difference. Whether you're the small, medium, or large piece of the puzzle, your approach is important, because no matter how small a piece you think you are, without you, the puzzle is incomplete. So approach everything as if you're the puzzle piece that's going to make it successful. We're all in this together, and we need all pieces of the puzzle. So completion is about putting it all together and sometimes finding ways to keep it all together. Create who you are on a daily basis, because every day you wake up, you're a new person. Get on the court. We talked about it. Connect with different people and disconnect with some. Lose some of that baggage. Sometimes you got people, who come into your life for a reason, season, lifetime. Sometimes you got to let people go so that you can go forward. They serve the purpose. It's not always negative. So you have to continue on your journey of being you. Because when you can bring the wholeness of who you are to the forefront, that's going to benefit the other people in your life that you love. So encourage other people and be careful of who encourages you so that you can follow and control your angels down the right path. Know that emptiness can be a good thing. Emptiness can be a good thing because every day you start out with a clean slate. Empty the nonsense from your spirit and fill it with more joy of what you can celebrate. And that's where the empathy comes in. Being empathetic comes in again, feeling that other people are going through the same process. And easy, EASY, expect angels to save you. Pray and get out of the way. It only gets easier when you start to focus. So how many of these words are reminding you to be empathetic and recognize that we may not have walked in one another's shoes or know exactly what one another has been through, yet we've sat in one another's row because we've all been through and are still going through something. We are all responsible for our piece of the puzzle and our piece in the puzzle. Remember, tests are rarely understood until their testimonies heal them. And freedom can be a tough choice because it's a result. So be the piece in the puzzle that you were meant to be. It's going to make a difference to a whole lot of us because a lot of us are going to be happy to celebrate with you. And no matter how many people are there to tear you down, when you have the right people celebrating, that quality will make all the difference in the world. Thanks for joining me on Truth Thursday. Again, even if you're watching in the video, let me know where you're viewing in from. And as you go through the slides, again, pause and maybe put something in the thread about what that piece of the puzzle is reminding you of. It might inspire me to come up with a different message or a new message to add, because that's part of the puzzle. We get to keep growing it as we add new pieces. Start to see life that way. Keep adding new pieces to your life. I'm going to do a countdown of 10. Just in case somebody who's on live, I don't know who it is right now, if you want to put a comment in the thread, and I'll do that. And that way we have the last comment in the thread. So 10, 9, 8, 7. In fact, I'm going to put this one in there just in case. I like that as a good closeout comment. Unless you who's still on there, put a comment in there. We'll go with yours. But 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. God bless you. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow on Gift Friday. Over and out. Ciao.